Hello, I am Ritvik Ghosh and I have created a Flutter app to perform basic CRUD operations, and we've used Firebase for this. And I have my Firebase dashboard open here, and I have deleted any previous data I've used. So we have no users here or no data in the database. And I also have my iOS simulator open, and we shall go ahead and open the app. And this app also has some basic functionality besides login and other things, and we shall visit all the functionalities one by one by taking some examples. So I will take a straightforward example to start with, and since it says if you are new here we should sign up, we would go ahead and click this button, and this filling this up would complete my signing up, and I'll provide it whatever it asks me to with some dummy data, email.com. We shall also notice that the default keyboard doesn't come up, but it's an email type keyboard which gives us all the available symbols required for such operations. I'll give it a default password of 123456 and make sure it matches. Create an account, make sure I have internet connection because Firebase is cloud based, and yes, it says I've logged in. So I have two options here. I can either go back to the login screen, or I may just go ahead and log in directly from this pop-up. So I'll choose logging in from here, and now we have the functional app here, which is a BMI calculator. It also shows me as a user who has been logged in. Also in Firebase we shall see that I have been added as a user. So for the BMI app, I can click my gender, adjust my height, my weight, my age, then I can calculate my BMI, and it shall give me a result. We shall also notice that it says no BMI calculated earlier, which means I have not used this app before. I'm a new user and I have no previous data, and the new data that I've generated is this value over here, which also is a normal BMI, and it also gives me a description and also an option to recalculate. We shall visit this option first, and maybe I will choose to adjust some of the parameters here, and again hit click BMI, and it's changed since we changed the values. But the interesting thing here is it notes what previous BMI I had, just the previous one, so I can compare my previous BMI with my current one. And again, if I click on recalculate, it changes again, but it's only the last value that we have calculated that gets stored here. Now suppose I have made a mistake and I do not want this value to come as the last result, so I will perform a delete operation from the Firebase database by clicking this button, do not consider this output. If I click, it'll take me to this page again, and I'm free to adjust the new values that I like. And if I hit calculate BMI, we shall notice that it did not register the value that we managed to get earlier, but it generated a new value. But if we recalculate now and change the values a bit, it'll show this value because we did not click this button again. Now we are signed in and logged in like this. We have two options to sign out. We shall see that if I, like in a default iPhone, if I slide left, I cannot just quit this app. I have two other options of getting out of this page, which I can see is this and this. If I try this one out, it's a button that will log me out, and I have two options. I can either stay or log out. So for a test, I'll choose to stay, and I can do my operations again. If I choose to log out, I can log out right away. Let us take a second example. Let us take abc at email.com. Now we shall notice that it's not a previously registered user. So let us give any password. Try logging in. And it says login failed because invalid username or password, which is obvious. So we go to the sign up page, and this mischievous person tries various tests on our app. So for example, let it be a faulty email abc.email, which is not of the email format, any password. And the first check it says is the passwords don't match. Okay, shall try to make the password same. Let's give it 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. Create an account and it will say incorrect email. Try checking the email again. So I will edit this. Oh sorry, I entered the landscape mode. Email at.com. And let us try with a shorter password but matching ones. And if I hit create account, it says weak password. Try with a longer password, preferably 6 characters long at least. So okay, we are back to that square and we'll stick to the trusty 1 2 3 4 5 6. Create an account and success, we have an account. I'll click OK this time and we shall be led here again. And this is from our last try to log in. So I shall also show you another functionality, that is abc at email.com 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now if we log in, we can log out like this as well. It says logged out. Going back to the previous screen has logged us out safely. Click OK, and the great thing about this is that no login details are saved on the screen. It gets removed, so no one again can just come and click the credentials available over here. So let us try logging in again. at email.com. Let's log in. Oops, it says all fields required. Sorry, 1 2 3 4 5 6. That is another check I used. I forgot to mention it. And yep, we shall also see what happens when a registered user tries to sign in again. And I'll use this one from the last session, twik at email.com, and I will use the same safe password to not trigger any of the other warnings that I've created, or traps you can say. And it says you've been here before. User exists already. Try login again. So I'll click OK, and I'll show. I have something to show. Sorry. Twik at email.com 1 2 3 4 5 6. I will log in, and we shall see that we still have our previous data from the previous session stored in our Firebase dataset. So now if I calculate after maybe a few days my BMI again, I can still see what my previous one was, and I can compare it with the new one. And if I click on recalculate, this will magically update. In fact, it updated a bit late. It does not update on recalculate, it updates on calculate BMI, and I'll show with another example. So Let's hit calculate BMI, and now it updates again. Now, if I ask it to not consider this as an output, I click this button and it performs a deletion operation on the database. So now I can readjust, click, and get my desired data stored again. And it shall not consider the previous output that we got. It shall consider the one that we chose to have and not reject. So I'll log out from this session from either of these, and I will log in again with another user that I had created. Same password so I can remember. Now I will log in. And this takes some time depending on the internet connection, but it's trusty because it's based on asynchronous programming. And I can click calculate BMI and it generates another document or another file for specifically for this user. And it says you're new here, you have no previous BMI data, but the new one is here. And if we click on this, the new data would be 28, which is overweight. And we can hit recalculate just as earlier, and this happens again. And the nice thing about this is I can see as who am I logged in as. So I can see my credentials for each of the users. And the good thing about this is it's hosted worldwide. So the data set is hosted from USA and it can be accessed from anywhere, making it truly universal. This was just a short example made in a time crunch just to show some basic functionality. Thank you for watching.